Now to part two of our coverage on the I-35 construction. Tonight, we wanted to know whether the work zones stretching from Salado to Hillsborough make the roads more dangerous.
Now, TxDOT says no, the interstate is safest in the work zones. However, police say they face challenges because of them. Curtis Quillen's here to explain. Curtis?
Doug, Leslie, TxDOT and law enforcement say there are challenges involved in safety along I-35 right now with the construction. But if they can get more drivers to pay attention and put down the phone, they can avoid a lot of this altogether.
We've seen it all too often, especially in Central Texas. An accident on I-35, leaving a trail of cars for miles, sitting in what looks like cattle chutes with concrete barriers. And if it's really bad, you may see a life flight helicopter land in front of you. Reconstruction of the highway began in Central Texas in 2012. Between then and 2016, there were 82 fatal crashes along the roughly 100-mile-long stretch of I-35 between the southern edge of Bell County and the northern edge of Hill County.
Hey, the reason for the stop today is because your speed. All right, you were at 94 and the 75 back there. Is there a reason you're driving so fast?
Officer Juan Cardenas has been with the Bruceville Eddy Police Department for 4 years. He says close to 3/4 of his department's workload is still along the interstate.
Pretty much every shift we get called to some form of traffic accident, whether it be minor or major.
The Texas Department of Transportation tracks crash statistics and breaks them down by the type of roadway and whether they were in a work zone. Since 2012, there have been 50 fatal crashes in work zones in Bell, Falls, McLennan, and Hill counties. However, it's unclear how many of these particular crashes were along the interstate.
The vast majority of crashes in our work zones are a result of excessive speed and distractions in the vehicle.
Ken Roberts is a spokesman with the TxDOT Waco District. He says TxDOT takes plenty of safety precautions in order to keep everyone involved safe, including both drivers and the construction workers. One of the key ways in doing this is safety devices you've likely seen, like bright orange reflective barrels on the interstate and those hated concrete barriers.
The lanes are no narrower than they were before. It's just the shoulders are not there. And those barriers are there to both protect the traveling public as well as our own construction personnel.
You want to get there as quickly as possible, and because of the construction, that has hindered us a bunch.
When a crash happens in those bottlenecks, surrounded by these protective barriers, it presents a problem for first responders to reach the crash, especially in the rain.
You know, I've gotten stuck before. I had a rollover crash right here on top of this hill that I've tried to cut through the media, and my partner stayed on the frontage road watching to see if I made it. I didn't make it. So they had to double back, and by the time they got around, I was barely getting out.
TxDOT says it works with first responders for that reason. One option is a break in barriers for emergency vehicles to drive through, but that can only happen if there's pavement on both sides of the barrier. Those types of problems are just part of the reason Cardenas and other officers like him find themselves frequently making stops.
Hey, just do me a favor and just be careful, please. Try to pay a little bit more attention.
But when it comes to traffic stops, just like with an accident, Cardenas wants to get out of that cattle chute.
And if the vehicles are movable, we get them off the roadway I mean, that's our first priority.
When it's all finally said and done, and the largest I-35 project since its initial construction is done, TxDOT says the highway will be safer and able to handle the larger volume of traffic. But until then, TxDOT and police alike are hoping to make more people aware so drivers across the state will slow down and put the phone away, because at the end of the day,
any crash, any injury, any fatality in our work zones are one too many.
Another thing TxDOT urges is to know before you go. That way you know whether there's any road closures or accidents ahead. A link where you can find that information will be on our website, kcentv.com. Guys.
All right, Curtis, thank you very much.